Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and today I'm unboxing Merchants of the Dark Road. Now, this, as usual, if you're new to these unboxings, this is an unboxing and rambling. I will be all over the place, possibly more so than usual. I don't particularly know, but to begin with, this is, oh wait, coffee shot as usual. This is actually me trying out my AeroPress for the second time. AeroPress, if you're not familiar, is some form of coffee making that involves a $40 little press thingy. You just push the coffee through. I had it at my brother's house and I really liked it, and so I'm trying it myself. What he did was better though, so I need to speak to him and find out, because whatever the instructions said was only okay. But Merchants of the Dark Road, this is a first for me. This is a first for me because, and when I say unboxing rambling, for those who don't know, I mean I'll be all over the place. So if you're just here to find out about Merchants of the Dark Road, I'll talk about it. I already have a review on the channel, but this is going to be talking about Merchants of the Dark Road, going to be talking about other things and other stuff, and whatever comes to mind as I just wander through this train of thought. Now, Merchants of the Dark Road is the first time that I can think of where I am unboxing a game, knowing full well, as I de-shrink this and lower its value by the second, I know full well that this is a game that I am not keeping, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately, genuinely. Unfortunately, meaning like this is very pretty, I'll say that. This is very, very pretty. It really makes me want to keep it more and more. I probably shouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now, which is tempting myself even more into getting this game, or keeping this game. You see, Merchants of the Dark Road is a game that I backed this, clearly. I have this box in front of me, I backed the game, I went all in, I was incredibly excited for it. There are lists, ooh, beautiful, Elf Creek Games, good on you. Good on you for putting this whole thing of what to do and how to do it. That is excellent. I love it when a company goes to that extra, little degree of work and effort and attention. Rulebook. Rulebook, I imagine, is the same as the retail version. I already have the retail version for context. That's how I have a review of the game, because I have the retail version of the game. The retail version was sent by the publisher to cover, and I did, and I liked it. But I also didn't love it. I liked it. It was a 3.5 out of 5 for me. It was a game that I simultaneously saw many elements that I appreciated and enjoyed, while also seeing enough elements, and this, by the way, rulebook's looks like coming at 17, 18 pages, something like that, 17, 19 pages, although it is fairly easy to get through. I've run through this one, fairly easy to dive into. Towards the end, some aspects are a little harder than you might think to immediately or intuitively understand, but overall pretty good. But, like I said, I like the game, I rated the game, I give it a 3.5, and I'm moving on from it because I have too many games that are begging for my attention that I love to keep a game that I liked. We have the Solo Rules and Adventures, a small little other pack for just, stuff over here. And I haven't dived into it solo. I almost want, do I? See, this is the problem. This is the problem I have. I like games. I like a lot of games. Oh my gosh, look at this. Whoa. Wowzers. Okay. Give me a second while I try to see if I can find my name somewhere in this box. Oh boy. That is a lot of names. That's a lot of names. Where are the R's? Where are the R's? H's. H's. We got the M's. We got the Red Raccoon Games. Okay. We got Paulson, Julian Quackers. We have David Rappa. It should be a little earlier than that. Paul Ranstoller. Anthony Michael Randolph. We have Randolph. We have Richard. Where's the Radcliffe? We have Rakosi. We have Ram. We have Doug Radcliffe, Alex Radcliffe. Boom. There we go. I got it. Alex Radcliffe right next to Doug Radcliffe. Hey, Doug. Doug, shoot me a line. My email is alex@boardgameco.com. I'd love to talk to you. I don't know what's the deal, but apparently there's 2 Radcliffes who bought this game. That's more than I thought there would have been. Radcliffe's not that common name for context. Really not. I don't know a lot of Radcliffes past the rest of my family, obviously. They're a bunch of Radcliffes. But anyways, Merchants of the Dark Road. You see, this is the problem. I like games. And that means that I want to keep this game, and I want to continue playing it because I enjoyed myself playing this game. But the practical reality is that more and more I've been making hard choices about my collection. I've talked about this in other videos. I am really trying to stop keeping games that don't get played. And the practical reality is that I am heavier and harder on heavier games. And this is not a heavy game, for context. This is a heavier game. This is heavier than a light game. And a game like Eco's First Continent, which I also gave a 3.5 that I just rated on my channel recently, is a lighter game, and lighter games I have more tolerance for because they see more table time. They take up less of my time, my attention, in terms of my energy. I can play them with more people, and so they get played more. Now this is the board of Merchants of the Dark Road. Let's go ahead and set it up briefly for you. But heavier games, on the other hand, are fighting a different battle, because heavier games, I really have to justify keeping them, because my choice is, do I sit down and play this, or do I play Coimbra again? And I do love Coimbra. Do I play Food Chain Magnet, perhaps? Do I play... Why do I feel this goes over here? This goes over here. Do I play Food Chain... What am I missing? Am I missing a centerpiece? I must be missing a centerpiece over here. We go. Do I play Food Chain Magnet? Do I play Indonesia? Do I play Whistle Mountain? There's so many other games that are the type of games I'm only playing at game night, that to sit there and play a game that I liked, that I enjoyed, but it's fitting into one of the slots that are otherwise going to be taken by games I'm already not playing enough. That's the hard choice I have to make. And it's a hard choice that gets harder and harder to make all the time. This is a fascinating punch board. You see this over here. That over here should zip onto there. Over here, you can see that rotating. This is magnetic. You see, watch how I do there? See how there's like a little just pivot down there? Woohoo! Okay, that means they had a punch board that some way created a magnet. I'm curious what the magnetic process is of this. I don't know. That's very intriguing. We have the various tiles, the locations, all that stuff. We have someone ringing the doorbell. I don't know why someone's ringing the doorbell. I may have to cut this short. I do have other people in the house right now, so they may be able to do it, but... Okay, we have the various locations here. I'm not going to... Oh, I don't want to punch this out. I don't want to punch this out because this, like I said already, is going away. This is just being held right here. Let's go ahead and keep these as static as possible. I remember this from the first game, that these basically just ribbon fold outwards. They have beautiful overlay on them, beautiful gold overlay. They're just going to straight up drop downwards. I'm going to put this back like this so that we can lay that over. Again, this is going away, like I said already. This is a game that is beautiful production, which is why I want to show it. I want to take it out. I want to talk about it. But it is unfortunately going away. I want, if you're someone who's interested in the game, if you're someone who is compelled by it, because there are a lot of people compelled by it. I just watched the Dice Tower, 4 Squares. They had a variety of ratings from Tom's 6 all the way to Mike's 8, which is a reasonable range for it as far as I'm concerned. My own personal opinion is putting it at, I guess, the equivalent of a 7. Not exactly a 7, but the rough equivalent at a 3.5 translated. I enjoyed it. There are many aspects of it that were very solid, very well done. There were a lot of small complaints I had. Tom in particular had a complaint that I completely agreed with that really bothered me, and I felt I was being pedantic about it, and maybe I am. It's possible I still am. But I know Tom was really up in arms about it. Not up in arms is probably the wrong word, but he was bothered by it as well. And that's the aspect that in this game, you can go on shortcuts during the game. And when you go on a shortcut, it's not any better. Or what was it? The lit road, the shortcut, I can't remember the exact detail, but basically there's 2 different pathways, and it's not that one is safer or not than the other. They both are the same, but there's this whole thematic aspect of going on this shortcut, of knowing the way, of spending your lanterns to go down a lit pathway, and it makes no difference to the end result, past the fact that you just get worse results. Which is such a thematic disconnect. Mechanically, I was fine with it, but thematically, I felt there was a huge disconnect in the game, and really bothered me. And apparently it bothered Tom too, so it doesn't mean anything. I like when others... I'm always worried my opinion is wrong. Wrong doesn't mean wrong. Wrong is my opinion is ultimately my opinion. You can't change that. There's no wrong in an opinion. But it does mean that if my opinion is a minority, if my opinion is an outlier, if it's an edge case and I give it in a video, well, I might be falsely informing people of an edge case, of something that's not indicative of the norm. Which is not the end of the world. That's the risk you have if you follow a singular opinion as opposed to following a plurality of opinions. For myself, when I watch reviews, I watch the plurality of opinions. Meaning, I like one of the reasons I like 4 Squares is because I can walk into 4 Squares. Look at these. These are so pretty. These are so pretty. Oh my gosh. One of the reasons I like 4 Squares is because I can walk into a 4 Squares review and get multiple opinions at one shot. It means I'm not misled by a single opinion. We have Mike, who has a high opinion of the game. We had then Tom, then Chris, then Chris' wife, Wendy, I believe, going through the different opinions, slowly escalating from, 6 to 6.5 to 7.5 to 8, whatever it is. Look at these double layered wagons. Look at those little inlays. Those are beautiful, the way those recess. I love double layered anything in this game. And these are just solid, nice wagons to have for the game. The production quality for this game is insane, by the way. Then we have, what is it, solo? I guess this is solo because I never actually saw or utilized the side. But yeah, the production quality is one of the best I've ever seen, which is also one of the reasons why it's a little bit of a letdown for me. Not that it's a letdown in the game, but I was like really excited for this one. I heard good things. I know people who tried the prototype who really liked it, and then I liked it. It's not bad. It's good. I think this reminds me, this game, Merchants of the Dark Road, and the reception it's currently getting, because I know One Stop Co-op Shop also was kind of middling on it. So there's a whole lot of, hey, this game is good, but not a whole lot of, hey, this game is great. These, I want to just keep these and just, if someone else can have this game, I will keep these. These are wonderful. Wow. Look at these. Look at this amber. That is delightful. If you back this game, if you're getting a deluxe copy of this game, understand that you are getting a whole lot of beautiful goodness over here. But yeah, again, so I don't want to oversell that this game is getting middle reviews. There's some people who are giving it middling scores, and some people are giving it very positive scores. That's how games work. But it reminds me very much of where is it? Where is it? Merchants Cove. It reminds me very much of Merchants Cove. Merchants Cove also, like Merchants of the Dark Road, maybe it's the word merchants, maybe that's the problem. Both these games got a lot of hype and buzz during the Kickstarter. And then they landed, and suddenly they were getting mixed reviews. Now, interestingly enough, on the Merchants Cove side of things, I'm actually more receptive to keeping it and enjoying it, but for very different reasons. I think Merchants of the Dark Road is a better game, to be very, very clear. But while I think Merchants of the Dark Road is a better game, Merchants Cove gives me more reasons to keep diving into it. Merchants Cove gives me variability that I didn't feel I got from Merchants of the Dark Road. So it's not that I think Merchants Cove is better. I actually think it's arguably, worse is a relative term. It's all opinions, but I don't think it's nearly as good. Look at these lanterns, Elf Creek. Elf Creek, what are you doing to me? These are beautiful. These are straight up beautiful. Look at these lanterns. Look at these. Let's go ahead and grab you a player board. Let's tuck these, because these player boards are interesting because they had to be designed to fit both regular tokens, for those who have them, as well as these deluxe lanterns, and it looks like they did that with a little bit of a ridge in the board, so you can kind of lay them on the bottom. So they have a small little gap for the deluxe lanterns. These are insane. Look at that. Look at that over there. Look at those lanterns. That is just straight up Elf Creek. Jeez. See, Elf Creek's going to be coming to Kickstarter shortly with, they just did their Honey Buzz expansion, so that's not happening anymore. That's done. They're coming to... What's the name of the game? What's the name of the game? I don't remember the name of the game. It's the Bejeweled-like style game, meaning you're sliding cards back and forth. It's a reprint of an existing game. They've been talking about it for going on a year now. It's kept getting pushed off, and it's coming to Kickstarter soon, but I can't remember the name of the game. Subscribe to my channel. I will talk about it when it comes out, for sure. Then we have these wooden wagon tokens that go on the wagon trail. Significantly better, by the way, than the little tokens you get in the retail version. That's these over here. Look at these wagons. Look at these wagons. They're just, again, the production quality is insane. Elk Creek is outdoing themselves. I just wish I loved the game more. But yeah, so the whole mixed reception aspect. Ironically, by the way, Mike in both cases really liked Merchants Cove and liked Merchants of the Dark Road. Although Mike, interestingly enough, started out as a lower rating on Merchants of the Dark Road. And my pathway with Merchants of the Dark Road was actually a very interesting pathway in the sense that my first play was, I really am intrigued, but I'm curious where this goes. My second play was, okay, it's getting better. And then my third play was back down again already. Meaning it started on a pathway of escalation as I saw more of the promise of the game of how to min-max in a better way, in a more efficient way. And then it started going down again as I felt that the experience was getting a little samey over multiple plays, that I wasn't getting more out of each play. So like I know if you watch the Four Squares review, Mike said that it went up for each play. Tom said it started off as a 6 and stayed a 6. For me, I went up and then back down. Although, yeah, I mean, it ended slightly higher than my first play, but still okay as opposed to amazing. Now there's supposedly there's an expansion coming for this game, and this is where things get tricky, because I heavily debated keeping this game because of the fact that there might be an expansion coming. Now, to be clear, when I say supposedly, I do not have any factual, knowledgeable information. What I have is, and by the way, this insert, I mean, the way this works, this is so much better than the retail version in the sense that you have this tray where you can store all the various goods, as you can see listed over here. And so that's going to make your whole setup and tear down a whole lot easier than what I had to do every single time, which was basically laying them all on the table and hoping the stacks didn't fall over. But going back to what I was saying, the way the puzzle pieces are coordinated in the game, to this day I still don't remember if someone told me this or if I just came up with the idea myself when I was looking at the Kickstarter. But basically, do I open the cards? I'll open the cards, why not? I remember thinking that the puzzle pieces were a little weird. The fact that it has puzzle pieces instead of a board is a little weird. And I was thinking, I remember at one point I thought maybe it's because of the magnet. Maybe they needed to do it for production reasons, because of otherwise the board, this, that, the other, I don't know, come up with some reason. But I also remember the possibility that there was an expansion, and I believe I saw comments saying that, I saw comments in different videos as well talking about the fact that at different conventions, they teased the fact that an expansion would be coming. And the idea of the puzzle pieces is to give you different experiences, to give you different ways to link the pieces in and out, so you can change up the board without having a new board every single time. Let's go ahead and go through these cards. These are the various companions, adventurers that you'll be recruiting at the inn. They'll buy different things from you at the current market prices. They'll give you different perks down here. They'll be going to different cities. You'll obviously want to give this a good shuffle when you first get this, because look how they're all the same right now, so you'll definitely want to shuffle. These are some of the middle cards that go on the center of the board that give you different ways to earn extra points or prestige or money, all these different things in the game. Just a whole bunch of small little cards there. Beautiful art, by the way. Art's by Bosley, Andrew Bosley. Art's by Andrew Bosley. It is amazing. Same quality you'd expect from someone who did Everdell, that's because he did Everdell. Let's see if this will open up. There we go. Yeah, I always find these card packs, they give you these little ways to pull the plastic off, but then when you grab them, they tend to, you have to scratch the card almost to make it open. So I'm not going to do that. I will use my knife and hope that it works that way, which it did. So yay. We have these companions over here, which I never fully took advantage of as much as I would like to. Like, I mean, I took advantage of them, to be clear, but the companions have different ways to get the most out of them, and I always felt that I got a little bit out of them, not as much as I possibly could have. And I did well in this game in general. One of those things that I always find interesting, when I'm more middling on a game, I like to say, oh yeah, and I won too, or I had both wins and losses, because sometimes people assume that a bad game is, and again, it's not a bad game, it's a good game. Even now, I kind of want to dive into it again. But sometimes people assume that your experience of a game might be tainted by wins or losses. And I think that's a fair assumption, by the way. I don't think that's unreasonable to question. Here we got some solo cards. Yeah. But I think it's a reasonable assumption to wonder about winning or losing tainting an experience. In my case, if I win too strongly, if I have too strong of a win, then I am likely to have a slightly tainted experience, because I like the challenge of having to, like, really... What's happening here? Give me a second here while I try to figure out what's going on here. There we go. I like the challenge of having to try, and too easy of a win could be a problem, as is too much of a loss. Here we got the dice. Now, by the way, these dice, they're in your retail version of the game. They're in the same retail version if you have that, and they're delightful. Like, the retail version of this game was almost worth unboxing on its own. The only reason I didn't is because I wanted to, like, really dive into, like, the full production. But again, for a game that I am unfortunately not keeping, that I know I'm not keeping, I went back and forth on whether I should keep it. It's just the question of, do I play the game that's good, or do I play the game that, for me, is great? These are just beautiful dice. Again, like, look at a handful of dice over here. Look what we have here. These are just really ridiculously nice quality. They're ridiculously good looking. They're good looking. What's your superpower? Being ridiculously good looking. That's from Zoolander. Although I don't know if he says superpower at any point. He does say something about ants, small, and excuse the particularly loud noises. These are particularly loud. What are these? What are these? What are you doing to me? Elf Creek, seriously. I don't even know what these are. These are some markers for something, but they're like these custom markers. I don't know what's happening here. They're just very nice. That's what I'm saying. They're very nice. We haven't even gotten to the coins, by the way. In case you want to skip ahead, timestamps down below, I should say, as always. But you can skip around over here, find whatever you want. There's timestamps to all the even ridiculously, good bits for the... These are just like, I don't even know what these are. These are various markers for things. I have to take a look at the board to see where they come into play. I'm sure I could figure it out. Oh, there's different tracks. That's what these. There's different little mini rondelle tracks that these are moving around on the board. And there's the runes you can go to. Yeah, that's what those are for, I assume, because that makes sense. Then we have the dice, more dice, which we have these market dice. We have those dice. I'm not going to bother opening those. It's just more stuff that you've seen already. But I will open these little horseshoes, because the deluxe version of the game comes with metal horseshoes. This deluxe game is very premium looking. Look at those. Look at those horseshoes. Little clinky horseshoes. These allow you to move one extra forward or back as you move around the board, which gives you a lot of flexibility. You want to save those for when you can really utilize them, as opposed to just because whenever. So, that's over here. We got that. We'll put these back over here like so. We will put the cover back on like so. And again, it has more spots for all these other things that I'm not getting into, because I'm not completely punching everything. That's too much work. I just wanted you to see the general idea of the game and what's going on here. So, let's go ahead and put these back in. These can go over here. Let's put this like that. So this goes over here. These go here. Then these can go in here. And then we have these boards that will all go in here like so. And that ought to do it, except for the fact that I have that sticking out. There we go. There we go. That is your core box in Merchant of the Dark Road. But like I said already, we are not done. We are not done by a long shot. We have more stuff to show you because this game is ridiculous. So, but anyways, back to Merchant's Cove. The comparison to Merchant's Cove, I think, is apt on a few accounts. Like, there's a lot of people who like the game and a lot of people who are let down because of all the pre-buzz. Sometimes a game can be victim to its own expectations that were set, which in the case of Merchant of the Dark Road and in the case of Merchant's Cove, expectations were clearly set. And I think a lot of people are enjoying both of those games. But a lot of people are not because expectations were set, and for some it was met, and for some it was not. Which, to be clear, is the case all the time. But I think it's worse when you have, like, a lot more buzz. I remember an expression I heard once is, happiness is reality minus expectations. Okay? Or is it expectations minus reality? No, reality minus expectations, as it was. Basically, if you expect, let's say you walk, let's just keep it simple, for dinner, okay? Why don't we use a game? Why don't we use a board game? We're talking about board games, okay? Let's pretend for a second that you expect a board game to be a 10 out of 10 in terms of how good it is. And then you play it, and it's an 8 out of 10. Well, that game's going to disappoint you because you were expecting it to be a 10 out of 10 and it was not. This is basic logic, right? Okay, it was a 10 out of 10 and you was like 8 out of 10 and you're like, I really thought that this was going to be the next whatever. And it wasn't. These are nice bags, by the way. It's got these little little thingies over here, these little whatever. These are very, very nice. Very, very quality. Shoddy. Shoddy is the word we could use, okay? The shoddy little bags. Just, you know, felt thingies. Solid. I mean, I wouldn't have paid extra for these on their own, but combined with the rest of all the stuff, these are the merchant coin pouches to keep all your coins in and stuff. Ow. Ow, ow, ow. I cut myself earlier. Not with my knife. It wasn't with my knife. I played with my knife, but not this time. But anyways, yeah. So, a 10, if you're expecting a game to be a 10 and it's only an 8, you will be disappointed. But, if you're expecting nothing from a game, if you're expecting a game to be a 6, and you play it, and it's an 8, you're like, wow, this is so good. I can't believe how good this game was because I was expecting nothing. That is generally what happens with gaming. I mean, Resident Evil is a good example of this. Resident Evil, to me, is a solid 4 to 5. But I was expecting Resident Evil to be less than that. I was expecting Resident Evil to be a game that I played, said it's okay, and then moved on from. Why? Because I never really heard buzz from people whose opinion I trust, and yet when I play it, it was so good. It was so good. It's not that I heard people who I trust be against it. I just never heard buzz about Resident Evil from Steamforge. The whole series. They have Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, and then they have Resident Evil 1. Resident Evil was delightful. Talking to Jeremy Howard about this, who, by the way, loves Merchant of the Dark Road, so, you know. But, talking to Jeremy Howard about it, and he also played Resident Evil, and he also loved it. But same idea. We both expected nothing from it. We both walked in being completely blindsided by how good a game it was. But, so that's a good game. The flip side is something like Ares Expedition, okay? Ares Expedition, speaking of which, I don't know when this video goes up, but either before or after this video, I have a video going up with Jeremy Howard talking about our top 10 disappointments and our top 10 surprises. 2 different videos, okay? Here we have the Patrons provisions, giving you some, you know, different extras over here, some more cards, some more priests, some hero cards, some steeds, different things like that, some secret message tiles. Ooh, what's this? I don't know what this is. I don't know what the secret message tiles is. The rest of the stuff is just more. More events are good, more animals are good, more companions are good, more hero cards are good. I don't know what this is. Interesting. Intriguing. A little bit of a slight gameplay module. So we have something interesting in there. But anyways, going back to that. So Resident Evil is good. Again, because of that aspect over here. We have the rigged wheel. They say all Carnival games are rigged. Is this one rigged enough for you? Interesting. I'm curious how that plays out. We have these various tokens over here, the more steeds. Again, these are just more content plus some secret messages to give you more stuff for the game. All these fun things. We have Long Shadow. When you use an illuminated die, you may choose any one of the 4 buildings to activate. That's useful. A little more flexibility in your engine building. Okay. But anyways, going back to what I was saying. What was I saying? I was talking about expectations versus reality, all that stuff. Yeah, so Resident Evil really, really blew me away. Contrasted with Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. Okay, so let's go back to what I was saying. So I was saying that, in my opinion, Resident Evil is one of my top surprises from this past year. Okay, so that's with me so far. Because of the fact that I was expecting nothing and I got a game that I really enjoyed, that I would rank a 4 out of 5. Okay, but I love it because of that. Contrasted with Terraforming Mars. Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition, okay? Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition is a game that I played it. And it's a 4 to 5 for me, by the way. It's a 4 to 5. But I was expecting Terraforming Mars. I was expecting it to be a game that delivered the same experience, the same goodness that Terraforming Mars did. And so my expectation was a 10, or a 5 in my case, and I got a 4. And so Ares Expedition disappointed me. Now, I still own and still love Ares Expedition, but my expectations were not met. And so initially, it was a very big disappointment. And that's the whole concept of reality. Well, the whole concept of reality minus expectations. Meaning, it's all well and good to set expectations. It's all well and good to have an incredibly successful Kickstarter with incredibly premium components and all those things. And for some people, it will deliver. And I think there's even a possibility. There's even a possibility. This is actually an interesting point to consider. There's even a possibility that sometimes the reason why you see Kickstarter coverage being more positive than post-Kickstarter coverage, some of it is because it's not always a review. Sometimes it's just it's a preview. You know, it's not really meant to be anything more than hyping people up. Other times, though, like in the case of Jeremy Howard tells it like it is. I have no qualms about his opinion. And he loved this game. Oh, Elf Creek. These are beautiful. These are beautiful. I'm going to make you wait, okay? So, back to what I was saying. Sometimes, I think a game, when Jeremy Howard sits down and plays Merchants of the Dark Road, and he doesn't have all that hype, that buzz, that expectation, and he enjoys it, it might factor into his enjoyment the fact that he didn't walk in with these little high bars that had to be met. He just played a game, and then gave his opinion of the game. But in the case of myself, or even the Dice Tower, or whoever, One Stop Core Shot, the people who are all giving this more middle-of-the-road reviews, although again, Mike gave it an 8, so factor that in, it could be we had expectations set for us. And those expectations were a bit of a letdown, even though the game is great, because we expected more. And that could factor into our opinion, it could factor into our disappointment. Those things are absolutely possible. Again, Ares Expedition is a good reference point. That is a game that my first review of it was, it's good, but it's not Terraforming Mars. And then once I got over that, I came around to it. And I still like Terraforming Mars more. Terraforming Mars is my favorite game of all time, and Ares Expedition was just outside my top 100. But Ares Expedition is still a game that I really enjoy, and it's still a game I really love. I just had to settle and adjust my expectations of what it was before I got into it. Now, for context, the coins. I also expected the coins to be very nice, and these did not let me down. If we look at the coins, here are some of the coins here. These are two-tone coins, two-tone, and that's dropping all the place. These are delightful and beautiful to the nth degree. This is easily, from a pure component standpoint, this is easily the nicest thing that Elf Creek Games has ever made. Okay? Not their games, I'm talking about their components. From a component standpoint, these coins, and I'll show you the others in a second, these are easily the nicest thing that Elf Creek Games has ever made. Beautiful. And like they have little bees in the back. You can use honey buzz, I guess, if you wanted to. Although I don't know if the rest will thematically work. I'm still going to sell the coins because I want to sell this as an all-in. And I don't want to sell it as a all-in minus the coins. But anyways, yeah, this is the thing. Like, I got this game. I backed it. I was very excited about it. I actually, like, I didn't even track it really when it came out. I remember when it came out on Kickstarter, I kind of found out about it last minute. I wasn't really doing my upcoming Kickstarter, so I didn't have my list quite as ordered yet. I was still just starting to do my to back or not to back series, and so this one kind of caught me unawares. I did a last minute video on should you back it, Merchants of the Dark Road, and I talked about how it'll hold its value. Very shortly we'll find if I was right or not. Very shortly. Let me just hang up on Jesse. I will call him back in a second. That's just Jesse Anderson, who I will cracklope, who I'll be calling in a second to find what's up with him. But we have these over here. These coins. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. These are insane. What is that? What? Like, these are just insane. They have a face on the other side. They're two-tone coins. Like, this is insane. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that, like, face over there. The coins are absolutely beautiful. If you were interested in the coins, you got some beautiful, beautiful coins. Now, they were expensive. Two-tone coins were not cheap. But they are very pretty. In any case, that's basically it. This is my unboxing of Elf Creek Games, Merchants of the Dark Road. I wanted to do an unboxing. I debated not doing it because it feels a little weird to do an unboxing of a game I'm not keeping. But I think the game is a good game, and I think it's a beautiful game. And at the very least, I want people to see that the game is absolutely beautiful and absolutely stunning. It is a game that may well work for you. I would highly recommend checking out general reviews and opinions left, right, and center, not just one or two. Find all the reviews and figure out whether it's a game for you. It's working for some people. That is absolutely clear. It's also not working for others. Some of that's going to be reality and expectations. Others will come down to game mechanics. There's going to be a whole lot of stuff mixed together. Ultimately, it's time to do your research and decide whether this is one you are or are not interested in. Although the good news is if we're right about the puzzle pieces, then there will be an expansion coming, so you don't have to pay exorbitant prices on the aftermarket. I actually haven't checked the market. I don't know if this is selling for more than its value or not, but there will be another Kickstarter. I'm assuming you'll have a chance to pick things up. I don't know the price points, though things may have changed because of all the freight shortages and all that stuff. In any case, until next time, hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did. I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and I hope you have a good one.